It's been a long day, long day. Um, and I'm not going to be on for very long. This is a random live stream as usual. So if you missed this, you can go to my live streams tab and catch it on the replay. If you did content like this, discussions like this, like, share, and subscribe to the channel. All right, housekeeping's over. Whew. All right. I have been getting into so many conversations about this Diddy, this Cassie situation. What's going on, Roosevelt? And you know, it's interesting because here's what the prosecution have on their side, right? They have a star witness. They have a video of the defendant just basically dragging and ragdolling this star witness in a hotel, right? And not only that, they have a pregnant star witness, all right? And these are all the vulnerabilities, really, that they need to narrate Diddy, right? Right? Tory Lanez, we're gonna get to that too, because I mean everybody has their opinion. I get backlash for my opinions all the time. So I have one friend right now, she's saying that she's obviously cut different than people like me because I am not sitting up here believing Cassie is a victim. I personally believe that she is a victim of her own decisions. She is a victim of wanting to be a kept woman. She wanted, to me, she's a victim of fame and wanting it. And personally, I think she sold her soul. I think that people these days should not be shocked at what somebody would be willing to do to be in the limelight, to be famous, to be rich and famous. And I said this in my video before. I remember Cassie when she came out, and here's one thing I absolutely know based off of the music industry. Cassie would not have a career, whether right now, whether Diddy was involved or not. Cassie would not even be known right now if it were not for Diddy. Even though she had her stardom, he pretty much got her at her stardom, right? And I'm not trying to say that her family, maybe pushed her, coerced her into staying in that relationship. But for her to say that her mom was taking pictures of him assaulting her, where was her dad? Like, where was Cassie's family in this 10 years that this man was just basically beating her ass? And who was convincing this girl to stay with him? Because again, there has been several times where Diddy and Cassie have broken up. Matter of fact, Cassie was competing against other women for Diddy at times. Y'all not gonna tell me that Cassie and Kim Porter were not competing with each other for that evil ass man. So, and I thought that there was another interesting point. I was reading an article, and I think it was Access Hollywood. They said right after Kim Porter died, Cassie reached out to Diddy. Right now, mind you, at that time Kim Porter died, Cassie and Diddy were not even together. Right? Cassie reached out to this man who had put her through all that stuff to send him condolences allegedly from this article about Kim Porter. And then a couple of days later, they were spotted out hanging out together. So I'm not saying that the girl doesn't have Stockholm syndrome or stock fame syndrome or what, but at the same time, a lot of people are saying she was groomed into this lifestyle. But when you look at some of these text messages that she has been exchanging with him, she doesn't sound like the victim all the time. And this goes back to that argument. Do I believe all women? No, because I know that a lot of women will do things for money. I know that a lot of women will humiliate themselves. They will let a man beat their asses. They will let a man prostitute them, all to be with that man, all under the guise of fame. I personally believe that she's a victim of her own decisions. And I think right now there's a huge, mission to take down Diddy. But bottom line, free calls are not illegal. They're not illegal. If people are willful participants, it's not illegal. I mean, people can argue, well, they were randomly soliciting people to come have, parties and have sex or whatever like that. But I mean, if that's the case, a whole lot of people would be, you know, guilty of sex trafficking. I'm just saying, right? The freak offs to me were not the issue. But I think that, some of this abuse obviously is problematic. But even still, when you look at the track record of the relationship, you're talking about this woman has been with this man 10 years, right? She said that ketamine or Special K was her, drug of choice to kind of zone out. It's kind of like the Lily chick that slept with the 100 dudes in one day. I mean, we cannot be surprised what some women would do for fame, money, and visibility. You got bitches that are trying to beat her. I think the other girl, she slept with 1,000 men, right, in 24 hours, right? They're trying to beat each other. There's a lot of women with these weird ass mentality. They're freaks. They get with these dudes that are freaks. And if these dudes are high net worth, high value, these women will turn slut for these men. Yeah, they will be doing all kinds of things to be under the shadow and the financial security of those dudes, even as a side piece. So I'm not saying that Cassie definitely did not deserve the physical abuse that she received from that monster. And I definitely don't think that Diddy is an angel saint, nor do I think he is an innocent man. I think he's a very shisty dude. But at the same time, I'm sitting up here side eyeing Cassie like, you're not the victim, based off of these text messages. Like, if you really didn't like the freak offs, how is it that you are having conversations about how they're going to go and where you should be getting sex toys? So I'm like, yeah, I feel like Cassie, she played the madam, she played the bottom bitch, and obviously she wasn't really the bottom bitch because, she was competing with Kim Porter among other women. I mean, Diddy was getting, women pregnant, right? I mean, obviously, Diddy was not even loyal to her, right? So she was competing with other broads for this man, talking about she missed him, right? Who texts their aggressor that they miss them? Like, I mean, honestly, I mean, unless that was like a requirement. Someone said that I was looking at what is it, TV or whatever on YouTube, and they had some lawyers on talking about the situation, and they're making the argument that even if Cassie consented to all of those things, like the freak offs in the beginning, right? Consent has an end. Like, you cannot consent to doing something, and I guess I'm trying to figure out at what point, and maybe they will bring it out, at what point did she decide that she does not consent to participating in those activities, right? And then, even if the repercussions were that he was going to beat her, there were several times where Cassie and Diddy were removed from each other. I mean, you're thinking about her husband in itself. He was on the Diddy camp. Wasn't he part of the training crew over there? Was he her personal trainer? Was she allowed to hire her own personal trainer? Or was that man on Diddy's payroll? So there's a lot of things, in this situation where I'm like, I'm not trying to, overshadow the girl's trauma, but Cassie, I feel like she's not as innocent as she's putting on. I think that somebody mentioned that she even has immunity. If you didn't do anything and you are truly a victim, why do you need immunity? It's kind of like in that Meg the Stallion situation. Why was there so much immunity? Why was Kelsey given immunity in the Tory Lane situation where apparently, like, she wasn't even being accused of a crime? And yet, it, like, from what we see, like outside of getting into an argument and a squabble with her girl that night, Kelsey didn't commit a crime. So why did Kelsey need immunity? So I'm glad that, more information with this Tory Lanez thing is coming out, because the inconsistency with that particular case, and even just the speed in which they chose to resolve that case, just didn't seem right to me. They didn't talk to the driver. There was people that should have been cross-examined on the stand that were never cross-examined. And apparently Kelsey's driver is coming out. And again, this is hearsay. I don't think that what Kelsey's driver is saying, it may or may not impact Tori's situation, because what he's saying is hearsay. He's basically saying that he heard Kelsey almost admit to being the one who shot Meg. I guess she was talking to her husband. He was privy to those private conversations as the driver, right? And he said that apparently his conscience started bothering him. And yeah, he ended up spilling the beans to some private group or whatever. But off that, I am going to say that these two black men had conglomerates against them. Tory had Rock Nation against him, trying to protect their asset, Meg the Stallion, who was to me a whole agenda by herself. And I think they really needed to pin that shooting on Tory in that 2020 time frame, because that was the time frame of victimhood, right? You had all these radical movements going on, LGBTQ, this, that, or other, protect women, protect this, protect that. They needed that to be on Tory for the political propaganda machine at that time. If Tory would have got off, obviously that would have, shook all those little liberal women who just want to see guys locked up. But I think a lot of people felt like her friend was the one that shot her. I still feel like the friend might have had more of a motive to shoot Meg than Tory Lanez, because again, he was messing with both of them. And I was listening to Willie D give his commentary, and he was like, why was Tory apologizing? Why did he call Kelsey, and why was he apologizing? Well, if you go back and look at that situation, Tory was fucking with two best friends. And I'm not sure, it's very clear from the confrontation that even if Meg knew that Kelsey was fucking with Tory, Kelsey did not know that Meg was messing with him. Like, she even said, I was on first. You're not supposed to do that to your best friends. We talk about bitches that do that to their friends. This is what Kelsey is saying, right? When she's talking on her little live streams. So Kelsey, to me, had more of a motive to shoot Meg than Tory Lanez. Tory was trying to get his rocks off with Kylie Jenner. For real. Like, what was the strong motive for Tory to really shoot Meg? And even if her career was popping off more than his, she was still a slave to a label. He was independent. In offset of money, Tory had more capabilities to make more money than Meg the Stallion. And I think at the root of this, that's a huge part of why they needed Tory out the picture, because they can't stand independent artists. They can't stand artists who are not slaves to their demonic system. And I think if Tory would have been able to just go on with his career, Tory would have had a way better career. He would have sold more than Meg, because Tory is a better artist. He's a better artist than Meg. Meg has conglomerates and machines. She's a semi-decent lyricist at best. But she's pretty much one of those rap bitch harlots, and all they're doing is shaking ass with repetitive lyrics that don't really go too far in anybody's life. Tory, to me, was a better artist. There was more of an incentive to get him out of the picture. And I truly do believe that this was pent on him. I think that they need to free that man and at least follow the proper legal proceedings. How the hell you gonna charge somebody with shooting a gun, or at least, I don't even know why this conversation of him shooting her is still the conversation, because Tory didn't have gun residue on him, and the gun was fired at least 5 to 7 times, according to the reports. And the man did not have gun residue. He was excluded. So I don't even understand why people are still running with this narrative that he was the one that shot her. And then for some reason, they just decided just to omit testing, and even if they did test Kelsey or anybody else in the scene, somehow he was the only one whose test results were on the table. And even then, they were inconclusive. So, I mean, as much as, people want to talk about protect women and believe all women, some women lie. And when it comes to fame and fortune and money, there's a lot of women who are willing to lie and there have been women who have destroyed nations in freaking history with their lies. You know what I mean? So, I mean, no, you should not believe all women, because a lot of women can be leveraged to take men down, and they do it unapologetically because they get coins for it. So I personally believe that Meg know that Tori didn't shoot her. I think Meg knows that her so-called best friend Kelsey shot her. But again, that isn't the narrative that they needed in 2020 when all that radical stuff was going on in America. They didn't want to see black woman on black woman. That wasn't a good narrative for the media, the press, and all the hype. They needed to see Tory Lanez, this black man, attacking this black woman so that they can run on that narrative that you got to protect all women, protect black women, when a lot of these women are out here and they're the aggressors. These women are acting like men out here. And then when they get victimized, then all of a sudden they back to women. It's kind of crazy. But anyways, you guys, let me know what y'all think. He didn't have the gunpowder. That's what I'm saying. There was no gunpowder. No gunpowder. I mean, how in the world, the justice system is corrupt in the United States when you can actually, accuse somebody of shooting somebody else, and then forensically it doesn't make sense that they were the one that shot the person. Right? How do you shoot a gun with no gunshot residue? Was Tory wearing gloves? And even still, there would be resin somewhere. They would be able to find traces. And yet, they couldn't find it on him. So, y'all let me know. It's hot as hell in here. But y'all let me know what y'all think. But hang on. I'm gonna have to turn on central air. Y'all, I'm so cheap. I will not turn on the central air. Like anything, I'll go outside. I'll open up some windows. It takes a lot for me to run shit. Like I have a dishwasher. I still wash my dishes. I cannot reconcile the water and the electricity and how long that thing ran. I actually timed it. I'm like, I would have been had my dishes done and this thing is still running. But anyways, but our legal system is corrupt, y'all. It is very, very, very corrupt. And I'm not going to say in connection with Diddy, even though I do believe Diddy is a bigger takedown than just Cassie and beating and freak offs. I think this is just a disguise to take that black man down because he was too powerful and he got too big for his britches. Okay. And again, I'm going to go back to that alcohol company that Diddy was in bed with, right? I'm going to go back to that alcohol company. He sued a very huge conglomerate and he won. So, and right after that, here we go with all the bullshit, and all of a sudden, all the shit that they were protecting him from all those years, now all of a sudden, he's a burned asset and they got to take his ass down. So with Diddy, again, the man is obviously a narcissistic monster. I'm not going to narrate him anything other than that. But at the same time, you can, sometimes you can paint somebody a certain way, and some of the charges, he's facing life in prison for what? For what? Everybody that went to go party with him knew what it was. It's like going to a swingers party. That's basically what I feel like, a freaky ass swingers party. And that's what it seemed like to me. And again, Cassie, if she was uncomfortable with it, why is it documented that this woman is making suggestions on where to buy sex toys? Why is she saying, I miss you? Why, when his baby mama died, You sending condolences. Let me tell you something. If a dude did the stuff to me that Cassie claims that Diddy did to her, I want once I'm away from you, I'm away from you. I don't want to see you. I don't want to talk to you. I'm off the radar. I want to be off your radar. I might just go and work at a grocery store and be a normal ass bitch to just stay away from your ass. I'll be a bum to stay away from your ass, right? She kept going back. She was competing with his baby mama and all the mother broads. Like somebody had to be the bottom bitch in Diddy's life. And it seemed like Cassie was okay with being the bottom bitch in his life until, and I can imagine, you know, and I hate to say this, but obviously Diddy when Cassie moved on and when they broke up and then she ended up getting married and having or moving on and stuff like that after 10 years they're off and on and stuff like that. It was like, oh, it seemed like Diddy left her alone. He moved on with Young Miami, right? And he was just doing his thing, right? He was okay with letting her go. And I personally believe that him wanting and being willing to let her go was probably the problem because I'm pretty sure Cassie felt like he was probably going to keep coming back to her, which he was doing, right? But at the same time, she was also getting older, and there was fresher, younger meat out in the scene to be had. And to me, she wasn't. I think Cassie became less of a commodity. I think that there was probably love there. He cared about her. She probably rode with him through all that freaky stuff. But at the end of the day, I'm pretty sure she could be scorned at the fact that that man was probably willing to let her go at the end. Because I mean, if he was that abusive, that this, that, we wouldn't even hear about Cassie being married. We really wouldn't, especially to the damn trainer. We wouldn't hear about that. So I think that personally, there could be so much going on behind the scenes behind this victim, and it's easy to turn yourself into a victim when you are a scorned ass woman. And hell has no fury like a woman scorned. So I mean, imagine yourself going through all that stuff with this man, right? And he's at certain points, according to you, he's willing to beat your ass to prevent you from leaving. And then all of a sudden one day he's like, all right, yeah, going on, right? That's like a weird psychology, right? Because Diddy telling Cassie to go on, right? Cassie knew, I'm out of the limelight. No more Met Galas, no more of the hype squad stuff, none of that stuff. And some people may argue, she probably didn't want that. Personally, I don't believe that dude that she's married with, that is a savior at best. But I think that like there are some women that like thugs. They like a certain type of dude. They like a certain type of dude. You're not gonna be with that type of dude for that damn long and tell me that you don't have a type of dude. I pray for her husband because he's not her type of dude. He really isn't. He's a savior at best, but at the same time, he could be a psyop too because I believe I heard that that man was on Diddy's payroll as well. So beyond being Cassie's husband, I'm pretty sure he was privy to some of that shit that was going on too. I'm pretty sure he was privy to some of that shit that was going on. I mean, and especially if Cassie was allegedly having an affair with the dude, he was privy to what the hell was going on. Did he run to the cops at all? Like, honestly, when nobody trying to take Diddy down into that alcohol company, and he sued them. But anyways, let me know what you guys think about this. Tory Lanez, we pray for the brother, his healing. We don't know if Tory shot Meg or not, but obviously the evidence points to the fact that the brother didn't shoot her. And honestly, Meg had like the way that she lied post that whole incident, lying about messing with him, all that stuff on live TV. Like nobody should forget about that. Honestly, that should have hurt her credibility right there. With no gunshot residue, linking Tory and the fact that she got her ass on Gayle King and lied. And lied. Megan is not credible. I really do believe her label, Rock Nation, did not want to see their investment go down the tube. Like, she was one of the hottest rap girls. Obviously, Jay Z actually had a good rap girl that could go up against Nicki Minaj, kind of. Not really, but they tried. And they were really trying to work Megan. They still trying to work Megan, but I don't think that Megan is really. I don't think a lot of people are feeling her because I think once you become that black woman that get black men locked up on some bullshit, your career really don't go that well after that. So, anyways, her husband looked pissed when they dismissed for the day. You know, I heard that her husband and Diddy they had this staring match, this, that, but I'm pretty sure her husband would had plenty of opportunities to flex on Diddy, and this punk ass did not. So there's that. I mean, there really is that. I mean, if you with a dude, you love a chick, you low key fucking around with her, and then she's telling you all this stuff that she's going through with this dude, it's like, I would think that he tried a big flex on him, but maybe he was scared of Diddy too. And now that Diddy's locked up, he feels a little bit more confident. But her husband looks strange to me. They look strange together, to be honest with you. Cassie don't even look right with that man. She don't. Like, she really don't. And I don't even think that man is like really her type. It's just the resort. He saved her. Gave her some babies to help her forget about all the trauma. But that's not her lifestyle. Cassie is not living the lifestyle that she really, really wants, in my opinion. She got Diddy's money though. He looks like a second choice. He do. Like, her husband looked like the dude that, that I don't know. He was a savior. That's what I say. He's a savior at best, but they don't look right together. And honestly, I don't even see how he can look at her all the time and not, kind of second guess like, are you really a victim or were you a madam? Because I think deep down, these people, like, I feel like if we really knew what Cassie's participation was, I'm pretty sure that she was doing some horrible things to other people. She probably feels the shame and guilt about that. So she's like, well, if I can take him down, that'll be my penance for my part in the situation. Who knows? But I'm pretty sure it was just like I said this about Justin Bieber. People keep focusing on what happened to Justin Bieber. I'm like, in these elite sex circle rings, the question is not always what happened to the celebrity. It is what was the celebrity made to do. And this stuff gets really traumatizing when you go into the area. And these people are being made to do things with, right? Then that creates a whole other psychology for these people because it's like not only am I the victim, I am now the victimizer. And I think this is how that industry works. They have to make you a victimizer so that they can have some kind of collateral or whatever on you. Because even with Cassie, she was like, she said they said something to the effect of her saying, hey, delete those pictures. There's too many people that have access to your phone, right? In certain text messages, Cassie seemed like she had some level of command. And, to me, she did not have a victim's tone. Like she said, did he hit her? And then she sent him a picture of it, right? Feeling like he was going to feel remorse for it. Like, you obviously, like, she didn't know that man because it's like if he put his hands on you, he's not going to feel remorse for it. I mean, that's where the Stockholm syndrome stuff really comes in, where he beats her, he gives her flowers, he beats her, he gives her flowers, kind of thing. You know what I mean? It's kind of like how the Democrats treat black Americans. It's like they beat us and then they give us flowers. They beat us and then they give us flowers. Yeah. But, anyways, you guys, lots of stuff going on right now, you know, in the world. I didn't really want to follow this Diddy thing. I think I did like not even a handful of videos on it. But some of this stuff coming out, it's like people keep, to me, I'm listening to everything that is being said, and I'm like, damn, Cassie, Cassie seems like she's covering herself, like by playing the victim. But I think that, you can be really into stuff like that, right? And even down, like, what is that thing called? One of my friends was into it. Like, there's a couple of things. What is it that, like, there's fiendom, which is like where you like tie them up and stuff and you just say really horrible things to them. And some guys really get off on that. And then you have, like, the dominatrix, right? Where some people actually get off by physical pain. They actually get off on it. And I know that sounds weird, but there are some people who get off on having or being inflicted with physical pain. Obviously, there's a mental issue there, but some people do. And I'm just thinking, again, they were off and on for 10 years. And if he was doing all of this stuff throughout the duration of time, because she's talking about I was 19, okay, 19 is still grown. I don't know why people keep acting like 18 and 19 are not grown. It's so funny how we pick and choose when 18 and 19 is actually grown. And that's an accountable age. I don't care how stupid you may be around 18 or 19, but that's still a grown ass person and you're accountable for the decisions that you make. So even if he started trying to groom her, she still had to consent in some way. And her consent comes with the duration of time that she stayed with that man. And apparently she was able to get out of the situation because she ended up fucking around with the trainer and marrying him. So I don't know, y'all. I don't know. I mean, like I said, I don't think Diddy is an innocent person at all. I'm not trying to victim shame Cassie, but I don't think this girl is as innocent as all this media hype is trying to make us feel like. I mean, it seemed, I don't feel like she was trapped. Didn't Cassie have her own house? Like, there are certain accounts where she's like, he would come over. Oh, okay. So if he would come over, that means that you had some space from him. That means that, like, you could, if he was beating the hell out of you and forcing you into sex thing, like, you had opportunity to call the cops. And I'm not trying to be funny either, but there was a mention of Cassie's mom taking pictures of a time he came over unannounced. He came over unannounced, all upset, ended up hitting her, and her mom's taking picture of him. Where the hell was Cassie's parents? I'm not trying to be funny. I think they're Hispanic. Hispanic people are very, very tight. Like, Cassie didn't have no brothers, no uncles, nobody that would put a stop to it, or were they also being intimidated? Or were they being paid? Or was the financial incentive of their daughter being tied to this monster so much that they were like, "Hey, honey, look, he'll get better. He loves you." This is, men do that sometimes, right? But he's damn near a billionaire, honey. So you ain't going nowhere. All right. I'm trying to figure out the parents' mentality here. I'm trying to figure out. That's right. For the love of money, the love of money is the root of all evil. The love of money is not the root of all evil. The love of it is. All right? The love of money is. People always like to, oh, money is, money is not evil. Money is a tool. That's just like saying a hammer is evil, right? A gun is evil. A gun does not kill people. Guns do not kill people. Guns have no more intention than the person that's holding it, right? But if you love money, you will do anything. You will convince people that you love to do anything. And I'm still trying to figure out where was Cassie's family. I would really love to know that. Your mama taking pictures of this man bruises on you. How the hell did you manage to stay with him for damn 10 years? I mean, y'all, let's keep it real here. Everybody want to be a victim. It's easy to look at Cassie. She's a pregnant woman. Obviously, we see this horrible picture of Diddy mangling her body and stuff like that. But again, that video, I believe, wasn't that in 2018 that that incident had happened, that particular incident happened. Was it, maybe it was before, because it looks like that incident happened after Kim Porter died. Didn't Kim Porter die in 2017? I think Kim Porter died 2017, right? That video of Cassie and Diddy, that was like, I believe, 2018 ish, right? Or maybe they broke up. It was right around that window of Kim Porter, right? But Cassie and Diddy, before Kim Porter died, they were not together. And there are reports that Cassie reached out to Diddy. Matter of fact, I remember seeing a news report on Instagram right after Kim Porter died that Cassie reunites with Diddy to mourn Kim Porter. Now, what kind of victim does that? You're away from the dude. He's busy mourning his baby mama. Why are you even bothering him? Really, they ain't got shit to do with you at this point because you're away from him, Cassie. That's the shit I don't get. I don't think this broad is innocent. I do not think she is as innocent as she is laying out to be because there's no way in hell I'm about to reach out to my antagonizer. I am not about to reach out to somebody who has demonized me for over 10 years to wish him condolences about his baby mama. Really, nothing to have anything to do with him would have anything to do with me at that point. I would really separated from the dude because he's traumatized me. But anyways, you guys have a wonderful rest of your evening. Hey, love your neighbor as yourself. If you would not disrespect or abuse yourself, don't disrespect or abuse your neighbor. Talk to your daughters about this little harlot culture. You look at a lot of these young women, they are like young men these days. They will do anything for money. Some of them are madams themselves. They convince their homegirls to be in these little whole like lifestyle. Matter of fact, I feel like JT from the City Girls said something to the effect of Young Miami trying to get her intertwined with all that Diddy stuff, and that was one of the reasons why Jatavia separated from Carisha because of all that Diddy stuff. So, you know, it is what it is, and I'm still interested in hearing from Carisha, but I don't think we're gonna hear from Young Miami because Young Miami is not playing like a victim. Young Miami know that it's more advantageous for her to keep her mouth shut because in the event that Diddy is found, exonerated from these charges, right? She gonna have to show that she was a writer in some kind of way. But I don't know, the sex trafficking thing, honestly, none of it is really looking right to me. I mean, they could get him on abuse or assault charges at best, but then we got to look at the statutes of limitations. I really don't see a case here, guys. If I'm missing something, let me know. But I don't see a case here at all. I don't. You got an ex-girlfriend that was paid off and participating. There's text messages that says that she was actually going to sex stores possibly and getting stuff for the little freak offs. He's asking her about what she likes and what they should do. And he's like, should we do this? And she's talking about ovulation. So, yeah, I think that she was down with what he was down with to keep that man. And there's a lot of women out there who are down with whatever their man is down with to keep them. And unfortunately, it don't work out well for them sometimes. So, anyways, you guys, you have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will catch you on the next one. Bye. Whew.